In the days of Herschel Walker, Georgia were the kings of the SEC. In his 3 years there, Georgia won 3 straight SEC championships and 1 national championship. In 1983, Herschel left for the pros and seemed to take Georgia's dominance with him. For the next 2 decades, Georgia failed to regain the success they once had. So many incredible players came and went, but the Dogs seemed cursed, always losing the biggest games when they mattered most. 20 years since Herschel's last season, and Georgia had not won a single SEC title or even appeared in an SEC championship game. But the hiring of coach Mark Richt in 2001 was set to change all that. In his first season, the Dogs saw some success, going 8-4, including an unforgettable win over their rivals in Knoxville. This set high expectations for Coach Richt's second season in 2002, and the Dogs were determined to exceed those expectations and return the SEC crown to Georgia for the first time in 20 years. This journey to the promised land would earn this Georgia team a simple but unforgettable nickname: Destiny's Dogs. Georgia came into the 2002 season with a lot of hype and were ranked number 8 in the preseason polls. This was because Georgia returned nearly their entire starting roster from the previous season. Included in that list was the SEC Freshman Player of the Year, quarterback David Green, as well as first-team All-SEC offensive lineman John Stitchcomb, and second-team All-SEC linebacker Boss Bailey. There were also a ton of exciting underclassmen getting their first chance to play for the Dogs, with the biggest names being defensive lineman David Pollock, defensive back Thomas Davis, and quarterback DJ Shockley. In total, 11 of Georgia's starters this season would make it to the NFL, so this team was loaded top to bottom. The Dogs would open the season at home against longtime rival Clemson, and this game was an early contender for Game of the Year. After exchanging early touchdowns, Georgia would jump out to a 2-score lead, starting with a great kick return by Fred Gibson.
Not real deep, but around the 10. Fred Gibson, 10 to the 20, trying to go up the middle, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 40, 35, 30, and there goes Fred Gibson all the way. Shockley going to take it. Got time, looking, going to run. 15, 10, 5, he dodges a man, touchdown.
Clemson would come storming back in rapid fashion, scoring 3 unanswered touchdowns to take a 28-21 lead.
Willie Simmons in a shotgun for Clemson, takes a snap, retreats. We're coming on him, and he's going to throw, and he's got a touchdown. Clemson has one corner come up in the corner, toss sweep, and we fumble it behind the line. Everybody dives all the way back out around the 44, and a Clemson lineman has picked it up. McNeil at the end is going to make a long run down the middle, and he will score. 21-21 tie. Clemson's in an eye again. Toss sweep. He's coming wide. One man missed him, and I think they got him in there. Yusuf Kelly scored. Aaron Hunt to try one for 37 yards. Sticks it up in the air, and it hit the bar and fell down. He missed it.
Then it was Georgia's turn to respond, scoring twice in the fourth quarter to take a decisive 3-point lead.
Shockley will take it, stop and look, fire right down the middle, and we're going to have a touchdown. Terrence Edwards caught a ball that Shockley put right around his hip pads on about the 10. A 9-2 setup. They set it down, and the kick is up there. Watch that ball. Good!
A gutsy 4th down conversion would seal the game for Georgia, giving the Dogs a valuable opening game victory. For Game 2, the Dogs would travel to Columbia to take on South Carolina. This game was a brutal defensive war, with just 3 points being scored in the entire first 3 quarters. Early in the fourth quarter, David Pollock would pull off one of the greatest plays in Georgia football history.
They got 4 receivers. They're on their own 6-yard line. Jenkins takes it. He's running to his own end zone. Stops. And we hit him there. Oh, wait a minute. Pollock took the ball out of his hands. Pollock scored a touchdown. He took it out of his hands as he was going to throw. David Pollock just took the ball out of Corey Jenkins' hands in the end zone, just a few yards in the end zone, and got a touchdown out of it.
In a low-scoring game like this, these 7 points were crucial, especially when South Carolina scored a touchdown shortly after. With less than a minute left in the game, Georgia clung to a 6-point lead with South Carolina just 10 yards away from a go-ahead touchdown. The Dogs had to make a stand here.
Chase him to the sideline, still chasing him. He dives out of bounds around the 4 or 5. Where? On the 4, they say. 3rd down. Jenkins takes it, rolls right. One man missed him behind the line. He darts in, and we hit him on about the 2. He's awfully close to getting a first down with 20 seconds. The ball game's coming down virtually to one single play. Shotgun. He takes it. He laterals. They fumble it. And everybody dives to the ball, and I think we've got the ball. South Carolina fumble. They run a little toss sweep out. Thomas Davis recovered. Carolina has fumbled 2.5 yards away from winning.
Thank the Lord for some great defense. It's hard to play like that and lose it, man. I'm just so proud.
Amen.
How you guys came back and hey, y'all banded together like we talked about. You banded together. Nobody quit. That's the best thing about this team. We will not quit. Let's give thanks.
After 2 tough games to open the season, Georgia could breathe easy for their next 2 matchups, with back-to-back home games against Northwestern State and New Mexico State, both of which resulting in blowout victories for the Dogs.
Fake, back to throw, rolls to his left, fires, touchdown to J.T. Wall, the fullback in the end zone. Snap, David Green looks, there's a man, Terrence Edwards, touchdown. Kick, beautiful kick. Over to the far side. Damian Gary takes it on the 29, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. He's got a block, 40, 30. There he goes, Damian Gary all the way. Green takes it and hands it. Big Musa stiff arming, 5-yard line, goal line, touchdown. Musa running hard for 10 yards and a touchdown. 4 wide out, snap, he gives it to Musa, sprint draw, left guard, Musa driving, touchdown.
The difficulty ramped back up in Game 5, with Georgia's toughest matchup so far, taking on the Crimson Tide in Tuscaloosa. Georgia had never beaten Alabama in Tuscaloosa, so this team was determined to change that fact. As if this team needed any extra motivation, Pat Dye would go on the Paul Feinbaum show and say Georgia wasn't man enough to win this game.
I don't think Georgia's man enough to beat Alabama. Alabama's going to line up and run the football, and they're going to play defense. And I don't believe Georgia's man enough to beat that.
The build-up to this game was one of a kind, and it would more than live up to the hype.
We're in an eye. Toss sweep to Big Musa. Block in the corner. 5, 10. Touchdown! We put 9 men on the line, and the kick is up, looking at it, and it is good. Snap. David Green running to the left with blocking. Fires, and it is intercepted by Alabama on the far sideline around their 35-yard line. 3 set up, and they set it up, and we block it. And it's out of the flat, and we catch it. We got a man running down on the 20, Bruce Thornton, out of bounds around the 28. We blocked the thing, and Bruce Thornton caught it out on the flat. He had a couple of buddies right with him. And Green comes back. They're coming up behind him. He doesn't see him. He throws a long pass to Fred Gibson, who caught the ball. He fell down, but he caught it on his back. Fred Gibson, a sensational catch down on the goal line. 3 wideouts are in a shotgun. And Coyle retreats the pass. 3rd down, fires, complete. And it'll be a touchdown. He broke it away and pulled it away from our safety. Bama's linebackers a little close. One of them in particular snapped to Green. They're coming on him. Green going to throw a long fly pattern to Terrence Edwards. Touchdown!
Alabama would come back with 2 quick touchdowns to take a 1-point lead midway through the 4th quarter. Georgia would then chew up clock to set up a go-ahead field goal with less than a minute left in the game.
Now we're only 7.5 yards back. We're on the 22.5. Alabama's got 8 men on the line. We're going to try to win it right here. We kick it up and it's looking all right. Yeah, I think yes. Billy Bennett stuck it up in there with 38 seconds.
Thomas Davis would then immediately intercept the ball to give the Dogs their first ever win in Tuscaloosa.
I can't tell you how proud I am of every one of you guys. Y'all, hey, what we talked about, banding together like brothers, right? Nobody gave up, ever. Nobody gave up. It became that war that we thought it would be. It became that 60-minute battle that we thought it would be. We are the leaders in the East, and I want to stay that way.
The schedule wasn't getting any easier for the Dogs in Game 6, as they had a massive top 10 matchup at home against Tennessee. This one was a tough defensive battle like the game against South Carolina, and the Dogs opened up the scoring with a blocked punt.
Tennessee's 4th down, 1.5. We're coming up the middle. We blocked it. It's over here by the goal line. It's rolling in the end zone, and we got a man diving on it, but he slid out of bounds. Might be a safety. Reggie Brown dove on the ball.
Fourth down. We jump, we block it, and it's rolling around, and we pick it up on our 27-yard line. Got a man trying to come down the sideline. He was out of bounds, but it was Corey Bryant. We blocked it. Boss Bailey blocked it. Boss Bailey blocked the field goal by jumping high in the air at left tackle.
Georgia would knock through 2 field goals as the defense stood strong to take an 8-0 lead into halftime. Midway through the third quarter, the Dogs would score their only touchdown of the game. After making another field goal, Georgia had an 18-0 lead and seemed to be coasting to an easy win, but 2 late Tennessee touchdowns would make things interesting. Just like the game against Clemson, Georgia faced a 4th and short with a first down securing victory, and once again, Georgia chose to stay aggressive and go for the win.
They're in a 7-2-2. Man in motion. We run a big sweep. We block. Here comes Milton. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Out of bounds on the 10. We put the whole school out in front of him, and we swept Milton on a big wide sweep. We had everybody out in front of him.
The SEC schedule would get a little easier for Georgia's 7th game of the season, as the undefeated Bulldogs would get to play Vanderbilt at home. Georgia would score on their first 8 possessions and total 606 yards on the day in a decisive blowout win.
David Green coming back, wants to pass. Gonna go all the way, there's a man. Touchdown! 5, we gotta go across the 40. Green gonna hand it off and faked it. And we got a man open down the middle. Terrence Edwards for a long touchdown down the middle. Wow, what a play action fake by David Green. Man in motion. Fake, Shockley back, looking. Touchdown in the back of the end zone to Benjamin Watson. Good play, good pattern. Watson really open.
Georgia would then travel to Lexington to take on a Kentucky team led by the hefty lefty. The Dogs were missing 3 key offensive starters in this game, but still played well in the first half, scoring 3 touchdowns.
Looking at a 5-man front, and Shockley going to fake it. He's in trouble, bootlegs left, throws a pass to a man wide open, big Watson. Watson in the corner, touchdown down in the corner.
David Green takes it. Looks, fires, touchdown. Terrence Edwards just dove himself out.
Georgia trailed by 3 at halftime and made some defensive adjustments for the second half. Those adjustments worked perfectly, as Georgia held Kentucky scoreless for the remainder of the game and turned this tight battle into a blowout.
David Green got a block behind him and then threw a long pass, and Terrence Edwards caught the ball and dove in the end zone, and the officials say touchdown. Cats in a 5, almost a 6. Fake. Shockley jumped away from a man, throws a pass, touchdown, Damian Gary. Big Watson goes in motion, and we pitch it to Terrence Edwards on the little inside screen, touchdown. Terrence Edwards running that little tunnel screen inside. Watson went motion right, Terrence came from the right and came across.
Oh, another beautiful play as Terrence Edwards, the man of the hour, his 3rd touchdown catch today, gives him 9 for the year.
52-24 was the final score, as Green and Shockley combined for a school record 6 passing touchdowns. Kentucky had promised to take down the goalposts if they won this game, and the Georgia players hadn't forgotten that fact.
Hey, take this picture, the goalposts, they still up. Plan for the big one next week.
Hey, man, you guys played like champions in the second half. Defense shut them out. Offense, I don't know how many y'all scored. Just about every time we touched it. That's what champions do. They had us on the ropes. They had us on the ropes. It was a tight game. It could have gotten nasty. Could have come down to the wire. Defense bowed their neck, and offense did their thing. And I'm proud of every one of you guys. Now look.
At this point in the season, Georgia had complete control of the SEC East. Despite having 3 SEC games left on their schedule, Georgia could clinch the division with a win against Florida. The Dogs started off hot in this game with a big interception on the goal line, followed by a quick touchdown on the other end.
It's up in the air, and we intercepted back on the 9. We got a man running down the far side of the field. Young Tim Jennings out of bounds on the 50. Now we shift and we go into an I, and they're in a 4-man front. And so we fake, and we throw a touchdown to that fullback, just like Tennessee. We threw to J.T. Wall.
Midway through the second quarter, Georgia would get yet another clutch goal line interception.
They only need about 3 yards. Grossman looks, fires, intercepted David Pollock on the 5, the 10, the 15, the 20, the 30. They're trying to block for him. The 50, the 40, the 30, the 20. Pollock gave it to Sean Jones, who scored. somewhere on, there's a flag down. Wait a minute, way back in the 45. Forward lateral. They're going to take the touchdown away.
The touchdown was called back for a forward handoff, and the Dogs failed to score on the ensuing drive. Despite some exciting plays throughout the game, it just wasn't Georgia's night, as they would lose their first game of the season by a score of 20-13. Despite the loss, the team remains in good spirits, as they still controlled their own destiny and would make the SEC championship game if they win out.
We definitely still control our own destiny, so we're not going to fold up the tent just for this game.
The next game was at home against the Eli Manning-led Ole Miss Rebels. After exchanging early touchdowns, Tim Jennings would pick off Manning and take it to the house.
Manning comes back, looks, fires, and we intercepted on our 38. We got a man sprinting far down the right side. Tim Jennings. Jennings is going to score.
Shortly after, Boss Bailey would block his second field goal of the season to maintain Georgia's 7-point lead. The lead was short-lived, as Ole Miss would tie it up midway through the second quarter, but the Dogs would immediately follow with a touchdown of their own.
Green underneath. Comes back to pass, right across the middle, complete to Gibson, and then he faked the man out of his shoes and he scores.
The Dogs would maintain this lead for the rest of the game, as the offense consistently chewed clock and put up points to cruise to a 31-17 win.
Green underneath, fake, back, looking, and he's going to throw a long fly pattern. There it is, touchdown, Terrence Edwards.
Georgia was now at the most important week of the season. Here's what the SEC East standings looked like at the time. If Georgia wins their final SEC game, they make it to the SEC championship game. Simple as that. However, if Georgia loses and Florida wins their game, Florida makes it to the SEC championship. The Gators had a home game against an unranked 5-5 South Carolina team, so they were almost certainly going to win. The Dogs had a much tougher challenge, traveling to Jordan-Hare Stadium to play a ranked Auburn team that was also fighting for the SEC West title. If they wanted that SEC championship, Georgia had to go into Auburn and win. They would start off hot in the game with an interception on Auburn's first drive, but after that, the pressure seemed to get to them.
Auburn's got 9 men on the line, and one of them might jump. And Bennett sticks it up long and no good, off to the right. Out an inch. We're in a 5-man front. So they go to Ronnie Brown. He jumped up the middle. There he goes, 40-30, and running down the middle for a touchdown. Ronnie Brown just blew right up the middle. Line fairly well loaded in the middle. Kilgo kicks, end over end, not very high, taken on the 29-yard line. Hood to the 35 to the 40, coming to the sideline at the 50 to the 45. We don't get him till he's all the way down on our 38 or 9. He fumbled later. We got a man with the ball trying to run again in the 40-odd yard range. Set it down. This kick is sailing up. The kick is good. We're in virtually a 5-man line as Campbell gives fakes, rolls right, throws, and it is going to be, we fought a low ball down around our 42. I think we've got it. Kilgo standing back in the 25. Got a snap, got a lazy looking spiral coming back deep to the 19-yard line to Hood. And Hood in trouble. One man missed, another man missed, and we're chasing him across the field. We're still chasing him. He got a block to 45, the 50, the 45. Auburn late in the half. And he fakes, he rolls out and passes, touchdown. He threw it to the fullback over on the right side on a sprint out to his right.
That first half was brutal for Georgia, and they were fortunate to only be trailing by 11 points. The offense had only managed to gain 63 total yards, were 0 for 7 on third down, and put up -8 yards on first down. At halftime, John Stinchcomb challenged his guys to play better, and the Dogs came out like an entirely different team in the second half.
Playing a 4-4. Snap to David Green, looking. Now he's going to Gibson. Complete. He hung on the 5-yard line with 3 men on him. We're in that power situation, and Green himself snuck in there and got it. David Green went straight ahead on a sneak. Shotgun this time for Jason Campbell. Going to take it. Go to Ronnie Brown. Fake it and kept it. 15 to 10 to 5 and a touchdown. Auburn's linebackers coming up in the gaps. Fake, and we're going to go down that right corner, and a leaping catch and out of bounds. Up a little close, Musa in motion to the right. David Green takes it, he's going to run. He got close to the goal and then fumbled after the play, and there's a pileup. They're saying touchdown down in the end zone.
One of our big linemen fell on it. Stinchcomb, yeah.
Stinchcomb got it.
Late in the fourth quarter, the Georgia defense would force a clutch 3-and-out to get the ball back with 2 minutes remaining. It was do or die time for the Dogs. They had to score a touchdown on this drive.
5 men up on the line. snap. Green looking. There goes that long bomb. We're trying to throw, and it is complete, and they roll him out of bounds down around the 18 or 19-yard line. Fred Gibson not really wide. And David Green fakes and looks, and he throws a fade pattern way wild and out of bounds. Musa goes in motion out to the right, which stacks up that one side. Green takes a snap and dumps it over the line. They bat the ball down. We're on the 19. It's third down. And he's looking, and he's going down in the corner, and it got tipped. I believe somebody broke it up.
And just like that, Georgia faced the Herculean task of converting a 4th and 15. This game, this season, the dreams of returning an SEC championship back to Athens all rested on this one play.
Wideouts. Man, we've had some shots, haven't we? Snap to David Green. There he goes in the corner again, and we jump up. Touchdown! Oh, God, a touchdown in the corner. He turned around and jumped. David Green had a couple times missed some opportunities like that. He caught it up high under his neck and had a foot in and knew it, and then got knocked out. Billy Bennett just put the extra point up there good. It's 24-21.
Georgia had gotten their miracle. All they needed to do was stop Auburn one more time, and they were going to Atlanta to compete for an SEC championship.
Pass right in front of himself, complete, and we hit him and knocked him down at the 44, and he didn't get outside to stop the clock, and the Dogs are running around the field. We knocked him down. They don't give a first down. We tackled him on the 43. He dunked the pass about 8 or 9 yards over in front of him. We tackled him short of a first down. He didn't take it out of bounds, but it wouldn't have mattered. They wouldn't have had the first down anyway. It's on the 43. I think we saved our whatchamacallit by some grace of some whatever.
Before the SEC title game, the Dogs had one more regular season game against their in-state rivals. It was the last game between the hedges for this senior class, and they absolutely demolished Georgia Tech.
Here comes Musa for the corner. Touchdown! Tech loads the line up in the gaps. David Green retreating. Looks, and he's going to fire, and it is caught. Deflected and caught by Terrence Edwards. We are on their 49. Play action fake, and we're going to throw it a million miles to Fred Gibson. He caught it on the 6. He's down in the corner. Touchdown! Oh, and he did it. He blocked it. Boss Bailey blocked it. It rolled back 15 yards. We pick it up around the 17-yard line, and they'll wrestle us out of bounds there. Back down underneath. And comes again to Musa, who's got a little hole this time and rolled over some people. Dove in the corner and scored a touchdown.
It was now time for Georgia to compete for the SEC championship. If it were a normal year, Georgia would have been rematching Alabama in the title game, but the Crimson Tide were actively serving a 2-year postseason ban for multiple recruiting violations. This meant that Georgia would instead be facing Arkansas in the championship. The Razorbacks were no pushover, with big wins over ranked Auburn and LSU squads, but this Georgia team felt destined to take home the SEC crown, and they completely dominated Arkansas from the opening whistle.
Dawgs trying to rush off the corner, and they block the kick, and it's rolling across the field, down around the 8 or the 9. A dog picks it up, tries to fight over the 5. We're pushing and pushing down to about the 2. In there with a 7 or 8 man line, and Big Musa, touchdown at right tackle. Green gets back underneath, and going to run the sprint draw, and there goes Musa outside, 10, 5, touchdown! Georgia now knocks on the door, and it has been a while since we've knocked. David Green fakes, bootlegs out left, going to run through, there's a man open, touchdown! Set it down, and the kick is up, and the kick is good.
Destiny's Dogs had achieved their ultimate goal and brought Georgia back to a place they hadn't been since the days of Herschel Walker. This team would get one more game together as they got to play ACC champion Florida State in the Sugar Bowl. In this battle of conference champions, the Dogs made sure to make the entire Southeastern Conference proud.
Jordan's going to snap. The hole by Kilgo. The kick is good. 34 snap to Walker. Walker stands there, looks, one man got him, and then he throws. We intercepted on the far side of the field, out on the flat. We got a man, Thornton, running down the left side, going down over the 15 to 10 to 5, and a touchdown. And Shockley faints and steps back and throws one for Terrence Edwards. He caught it, touchdown with a man on his back. Shockley led him perfectly. had to kind of lean back off the back foot with pressure coming. B.J. Ward of Florida State was all over Edwards, who caught a ball that led him right over his shoulder, right around the goal line, and we got a touchdown immediately. Back to throw, Walker, a man's coming on him, sack, fumble on the 16, we might have the ball, and we do. Will Thompson was the man that knocked it loose, and Ken Beal recovered. 10 men on the line, one gonna jump in the middle, and the kick is up, and Billy Bennett sticks another field goal in there after Jordan snapped it back, and the Dogs lead 23-7. There's safety men coming up. They give it to Musa. He cuts off the tackle, the 50, the 45, the 40, 35, the 30. One from behind and one in front. They slow him down around the 21. Musa had a hold and took it all the way down to the 23-yard line. And we set it down, and the kick is up, and the kick is good. And Billy Bennett hit another one. And it's 26-13.
They were a very unified group. They fought hard, never gave up the fight, had good senior leadership throughout, and so they kept getting better and better and better as the year went on, and find different ways to win in every phase of the game. Really happy. Again, I'm happy for this team. They're champions. We haven't had a champion in a long, long time, and again, I'm excited about the future, as all Georgia people are.
There was no individuals on this team. All people were playing for each other. I think that was the biggest thing that helped us was there was no individuals. It was Georgia football, and that was it. Georgia football, no individuals.
Our team was just so close this year. We did, we were just played as one. And I tell you, we got some key guys hurt down, right there in the middle of the season. Fought back, won some tough games and some, tough road games, playing in Tuscaloosa, the win at Auburn. Just had some really gutsy performances by some people that, you can't really explain them. They just, stepped up because, we wanted it for each other.
On me, Boss, Dan, to a lot of other seniors, George, we talked about we wanted to start a legacy. Hopefully, in years to come, Georgia will be one of those programs like Florida State who finish in the top 5 and in the top 1 and 2 every year. So we think we did a good job tonight.
And establish a legacy they did. The time period between the Herschel days and this team, compared to this team until the present day, is truly incredible. The postseason success Georgia has experienced is rivaled by few other programs in the modern era, and Dog fans have Mark Richt and this 2002 Georgia team to thank for that. Well, that's all I've got for you today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more content like this in the future, hit that subscribe button down below.